2020 was terrible, but it was awesome for heavy metal. Hey everyone, welcome to the channel. I'm Belgian Jasper. If this is your first time on the channel, hit subscribe right now. Back in July, I did a video on the 20 best songs of 2020 so far. So we're gonna round out 2020 now with the best 20 songs of the second half of the year. Quick note, just like in the last video, I'm only using one song per artist. Then I'm also gonna focus on the actual release date of the single. So in some cases, there may be a song for which the album isn't even out yet, but the single was released in 2020. Are you ready? Let's get this started. And the first song on this list was released on July 10th, which is my birthday, and that song is God of Fire by Fit for a King. With their latest album and, that really cool electronic metalcore song, Fit for a King might actually break through. We'll see, time will tell, but we are gonna move on to the next song already. On August 4th, one of my favorite extreme metal bands, Enlightened, released their new album Enlightened, and actually the title track of that album was phenomenal. Enlightened is a band from the UK. They've been around for a long time. They still have to release an album that I don't like. It's hard to describe what this band really brings. Let's just say it's an industrial, blackened death grind, or let's just call it extreme metal. A week later, on August 12th, heavy metal icons Armored Saint had their fourth comeback in 20 years. Every 5 years there's a new album, and this was maybe their best yet. End of the attention span was really great. The singer of Armored Saint, John Bush, is one of my favorite singers of all time. He sang for a while of Anthrax, and back in the day Metallica were actually hoping that he would sing for them. That never worked out, but he did sing with them on stage on their 30th anniversary special concert. 2 weeks later, on the 28th of August, a very different song was released. It is the new electronic core of Ghost Kid. Ghost Kid is the solo project from Sebastian Piesler, who was the singer of Eskimo Callboy. You might remember those from their big hit Hypa Hypa. Hypa, hypa, you're pretty and I like you. Move your body, girl, all night long. On the single Supernova, Sebastian actually has a guest, Marcus Bieshoff, the singer of Heaven Shall Burn, maybe my favorite metalcore band of all time. Anyways, that was an awesome song, check it out. On the same day, another really cool EP was dropped, and again, something very different. Like 2020 was a very diverse year for heavy metal music. I'm talking about the debut EP by Vital Spirit with the phenomenal song Centaur. So Vital Spirit comes from Canada. They have a lot of indigenous influences. They are some sort of a post-black avant-garde black metal duo. For me, this EP was the introduction to probably the best new band of the year. Really cool, check it out. Alright, halfway through September, Eternal Champion released their new album featuring the song Ravening Iron. At dawn we strike, with more and flesh, stop the slain, climb the gates, burn the altar. So Eternal Champion is one of those bands that is making waves with this whole, new wave of traditional heavy metal, epic heavy metal in their case to be specific. I love this kind of music. It sounds and looks like it was made in the early 80s. Absolutely love this band. Great album altogether, but that song was really cool. 3 days later, Belgian band and probably one of the best young death metal bands in the world today, Carnation, released their second album, and on that album is the phenomenal Black and Death track, Reincarnation. It was really cool to see that this young band was able to smash all the expectations that they created for themselves after a phenomenal first album. Reincarnation is maybe not their most typical song for them, but on that second album they really evolved their music in a number of different ways, and I'm very excited to hear this blackened influence on that album. On October 2nd, the phenomenal melodic death metal band Devil Driver released, you know, probably their strongest album since Pray for Villains from 2008, 9, I forget. On this album were a lot of cool songs, but one song really stood out, the song Wishing.
I will lead you through darkness to that very safe space. Wishing!
On the same day that that album dropped, the iconic French heavy metal band Nightmare also released their new album. Now the band has been around for 40 years, but they've gone through a lot of changes, and one might consider this band, you know, just a few years old really. On the new album they introduced new singer Maddie, and she is just phenomenal. And a lot of cool singles on that album, but if I have to pick one song that was really good that makes my top 20 list, it is the song Lights On.
Wake up, snap out of your nightmare. Watch how you read from the reason, yeah.
The song Lights On was inspired by the Nightmare on Elm Street movies and Freddy Krueger and all that kind of good stuff. You know, it's really cool to see this iconic band, you know, reinventing themselves and staying relevant for the modern world. Something completely different a week later, Harakiri for the Sky. The Austrian post-metal duo released their new album Mera, and you know, this band never disappoints, but this last album was really good. I've seen it in a lot of top of the year lists already, especially the opening track, I Pallbearer, is absolutely phenomenal. One day later, we have a first example of a song that gets released to support an album that is not even released yet, although it's coming very soon. This was the first single for the new Epica album. That album will be called Omega, and that song is called Abyss of Time. The story of Epica is pretty crazy. Like, you know, for almost 20 years this band has been growing, and they just get better and better and better, and also more and more popular. We don't know yet what the album will look like, but this is a list of the best songs of the year, and Abyss of Time might just be one of the best Epica songs so far. The song has everything the band is famous for. You have the perfect harmony between Simone's vocals and Mark's vocals. On Abyss of Time, this band is so tight, even if so many things are going on in the song. And yeah, it's a great teaser because I can't wait to hear the full album in just a few weeks from now. A few days after Abyss of Time, another single dropped, which was the first single for an album that just came out as I'm recording this video. It is The Undertaker by Accept. I probably don't have to introduce Accept to you. You know, the iconic German heavy metal band has been around for a long time, and although there are few people left of the original lineup, if we're honest, most of the albums that came out after the big comeback in the late 2000s, this band is firing on all cylinders. All their new albums have been really good. The Undertaker sounds phenomenal, and yeah, I'm very excited to see what's gonna happen with Accept. If the rest of the new album Too Mean to Die is half as good as The Undertaker, I think we're in safe hands. On October 16th, we had the release of the new Molassess album, which is the debut album of this new project supergroup featuring singer Farida Lemucci, who you know, became a cult icon when she sang for The Devil's Blood. Finally, we have Farida back, and Molassess brings this really cool and creepy occult psychedelic rock. Listening to this album is a journey, and the end of this journey is the phenomenal The Devil Lives. On the same day that the Molassess album came out, we also had the Spirit Adrift album, which is another epic heavy metal band from the new wave of traditional heavy metal. Again, it's one of those albums that you'll see in a lot of top 2020 album lists, and particularly the song Right Into the Light is phenomenal. Now it seems that there were a lot of comebacks or sort of comebacks in 2020, and yet another one is the at least a full-length comeback of Frank Blackfire as guitarist of Sodom. The iconic Teutonic Thrashers released with Genesis 19, one of the best albums in their career, and a lot of cool songs on that album, but actually my favorite song of that album and one of the best songs of 2020 is actually not a very typical Sodom song. The song is called Indoctrination, and it's the best hardcore song of 2020. On the same day that Sodom released Genesis 19, which is a Bible reference to, the fall of Sodom and Gomorrah, another biblically inspired band released their new album, their third album. This was Witch Hazel, and on that new album, check out the amazing I Am Redeemed. Witch Hazel never comes across as preaching, and their songs are just so amazing that even for a simple atheist like myself, I absolutely love this band. This album might be their best album yet. Check it out. Even with a lot of great releases, 2020 was a terrible year for most people out there. So it was pretty cool that at the end of October, a single song was released that made this year much, much better for a lot of people. Obviously, I'm talking about Shot in the Dark by AC/DC. Shot in the Dark sounds like every other great AC/DC song out there, and that is exactly what we want from AC/DC. This is a band we don't really want to change. Let's all just be extremely happy that we have a new AC/DC album and that there are plenty of songs on that album that are really, really cool. Back to some more extreme metal with a contender for maybe best black metal album of the year. The second release of this band in 2020, it's just crazy. But when the quality is so high, I'm not complaining. I'm talking about the latest Tombs release. Check out the song Baron. So with Baron, the avant-garde black metal band from New Jersey, shows us what you would get if you would throw Emperor, Pestilence, and Yngwie Malmsteen all in the blender. That song gives me so much energy, and yeah, you should totally check it out. Okay, by the end of November we have one more comeback, this time from the French death metal band Loud Blast. They had a new album for the first time in 6 years. To be honest, I already lost track of Loud Blast a little bit before that, but with this new album, and in particular the song The Promethean Fire, well, boy, they got my attention. This is a really, really cool song, and I'm glad that the iconic death metal band from France is back. Alright, we're at my final pick of the best songs of 2020, and my final pick is the song Doom by the, let's call it, deafened black avant-garde super project called Scour. So like I said, Scour is a super group. There's people playing from a lot of different bands. Obviously, they're most known for having Phil Anselmo as a singer, but this song in particular is just driven by Adam Jarvis's drums. And this guy is just phenomenal. He is Animal of the Muppet Show come to life. This is really cool. Alright, so those were my picks for the 20 best songs of 2020 that were released between July 1st and the end of the year. This was really hard because there were so many good releases and so many good singles, so I didn't have room for every amazing song. But why don't you tell me in the comments which songs would have been on your list of the top 20 songs of the second half of 2020. All these songs, but also the songs that were featured in my first video about the best songs of 2020, are all listed in a Spotify playlist. You can see that in the description below. So go there if you want to have a party with the best songs of 2020. I'll be publishing more videos about the best music and best bands and best albums and so on from 2020, so stay tuned for that, and I'll see you soon on the channel for more heavy metal content. You are awesome for watching this video. Click right here to see more content like it and subscribe to the channel.